The Fisherman's Catch is a short story about a fisherman named John who is in dire financial straits. He is behind on his payments and has no money to feed his family. John knows that the only way to save himself is to catch enough fish to sell them at the market. One day, John sets out to sea, hoping to catch enough fish to pay off his debts. After a few hours of fishing, John finally catches a massive fish that he has never seen before. But as he's about to bring it on board, the fish slips out of his grasp and falls back into the water. John is devastated and decides to call it a day and head back home. The next day, John sets out to sea again and manages to catch the same fish once more. This time, he's more careful and manages to reel it in. But as he examines the fish, he realizes that it's not just any fish, it's a legendary creature that has the power to grant wishes. After John catches the legendary fish and realizes its magical powers, he decides to release it back into the ocean, not wanting to use its powers for personal gain. To his surprise, the fish stays by his boat, swimming alongside him as if it wants to be his friend. Over the next few weeks, John and the fish develop a special bond. The fish follows him wherever he goes, and John even starts talking to it, feeling like he has found a kindred spirit. They share many adventures together, and John discovers that the fish has a unique personality, much like a pet dog. As time passes, John becomes more and more attached to the fish, and he starts to worry about what will happen when he has to return home. But to his surprise, the fish follows him back to shore, refusing to leave his side. In the end, John decides to keep the fish as his pet, and they become the talk of the town. People come from far and wide to see the legendary fish that befriended a human, and John becomes known as the man who caught a magical fish and made a lifelong friend. After John befriended the magical fish, they spent many days together, exploring the depths of the ocean and sharing their deepest secrets. As they grew closer, John began to realize the true extent of the fish's power. The fish was not only able to grant wishes, but also had the ability to travel through time and space. John was amazed by the fish's abilities and began to dream of all the amazing things they could do together. He envisioned a world where they could travel to the future, change the course of history, and make the world a better place. But one day, something went terribly wrong. As they were traveling through time, they encountered a powerful force that threatened to destroy them both. In a moment of panic, John made a split-second decision that would change everything. He used the fish's power to transport himself to a different dimension, hoping to find a way to save them both. But as he arrived in the strange new world, he realized that he was alone, with no way to return home. In the end, John was trapped in this new dimension, unable to return to his own world or the magical fish that had become his closest friend. He spent the rest of his days searching for a way back, haunted by the memory of the fish and the life he had left behind. John sat in a daze, staring at the strange new world around him. He had been so focused on his desire for adventure and power that he had never stopped to consider the risks. As he pondered his situation, he heard a voice calling out to him from the distance. He turned to see a figure approaching, and as the figure drew closer, he realized it was the fish. "Fish, is that really you?" John said in disbelief. "Yes, it is I," the fish replied. "I have come to find you and bring you home." John was overjoyed to see his friend again, but he was also confused. "But how did you find me? I thought I was lost forever." The fish smiled knowingly. "I may be magical, but you are my dearest friend. I would never abandon you. I followed your trail through time and space and have finally found you." John felt a sense of relief wash over him. "Thank you, fish. I don't know what I would do without you." The fish chuckled. "You don't have to worry about that, my friend. I will always be here for you, no matter where you go." John smiled, feeling grateful for the bond he had formed with the magical fish. Together, they set off on a new adventure, filled with hope and wonder, and with a newfound appreciation for the true meaning of friendship.